Thank you for listening to this PodcastOne Sportsnet production, available on Apple Podcasts and PodcastOne.
This episode of the Steve Austin Show is brought to you by our good friends at Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could be saving 15% or more on car insurance. That's right. Save hundreds of dollars on car insurance at geico.com. Extra money in your pocket? It may just be the most rewarding thing you do today.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production. He started in a small town in Texas. Worked his ass off to become one of the most famous wrestlers of all time.
We're going to take care of business tonight, and that's the bottom line.
And now he's dominating the world of on-demand audio. And he's doing it for the working man.
This is a damn good outlet for me to spew the bullshit off my brain.
Yeah! This is Steve Austin Unleashed.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I am currently out on vacation, recharging batteries, but just because I'm recharging the batteries, we still got business to take care of. In the meantime, we'll be playing some of the most requested Steve Austin Show classics that have been locked away in the archives. I got a great one for you this week, and here's my producer, Sean, to tell you all about it.
Thank you, Steve, and welcome to a classic episode of the Steve Austin Show. It's producer Sean bringing you episode number 38 with comedian Jay Mohr. Original air date August 15th, 2013. Jay Mohr, of course, a comedian, actor, podcaster. He does everything. Probably check him out on the road when he comes to your town doing stand-up. He is hilarious. And a lot of folks know him from his TV shows and movie appearances, such as Saturday Night Live, Gary Unmarried, Jerry Maguire. He's done a ton of stuff. And of course, he has a More Stories podcast, which I believe right now is just premium audio. You can throw that in Google and find that MOHR Stories. That's how you spell more. But you can check that out for more Jay Mohr podcast goodness. On this particular episode, Steve and Jay talk about comedy and sports, two great tastes that go great together. And Steve and Jay are well versed in both of those. They talk a lot about the UFC, NFL. There's some baseball talk in there. Also talking about maintaining your sanity on the road. They have some fun discussion about that. And also something that's quite interesting. Jay talks about the Houston Astros and how they're currently, as of the time of this recording in 2013, they were rebuilding. They were trying to figure stuff out, trying to, they knew they weren't going to be very good, but down the line they were going to be better and win some championships. And that they did. In the World Series of 2017, they were the champions of baseball. And Jay Mohr saw it coming. Some interesting insights here on this episode. Plus, it's really funny. So you guys will really dig it. Today in Steve Austin history, today being April 25th, happy birthday to my brother Brian. 1992, we start off in Atlanta, Georgia, because that's where they would tape the TV at center stage. WCW TV champion Steve Austin and Larry Zbyszko defeated Scott Allen and an unknown. We don't know who else they beat. That happened on the WCW Power Hour. And then later on in the day, if you're watching WCW Saturday Night, you watched a great 2 out of 3 falls match that ended in a draw between Barry Windham and WCW TV champion Steve Austin. I've had a chance to check that out on the network fairly recently, and it's pretty good. 1997 in St. Louis, Missouri, we go to the WWF, and Steve Austin defeated Owen Hart. 1999, we've got ourselves a pay-per-view in Providence, Rhode Island. It's Backlash 1999. WWF World Champion Steve Austin defeats The Rock in a no-holds-barred match where Shane McMahon was a special referee, and he accidentally hit The Rock with the title belt. And when Shane refused to count the pinfall, Vince McMahon came to ringside with a new referee and hit Shane with the Smoking Skull belt. And then finally, we got a pretty iconic moment for Steve Austin in 2000 in Charlotte, North Carolina at a WWF SmackDown. In the closing segment, Steve Austin was being challenged in ring by the McMahons and Degeneration X. They wanted him to show up because he was not wrestling quite yet, but he was participating in the program between Triple H and The Rock. As this was happening in the ring, moments later, The Rock appeared on the stage, said, "Hey, I know where Austin is. Here he is." And then Steve Austin was shown outside the arena, had some words for DX and the McMahons in the ring, and then Austin used a crane to crush and destroy the DX Express. That's right. This is the one where Steve Austin destroyed a bus. A very iconic day today, April 25th in 2000. And that is today in Steve Austin history. All right, folks, stick around just a second. We're going to have Jay Mohr as a guest on a classic episode of The Steve Austin Show.
It can be a little frustrating, especially if you're in a hurry or running late to find yourself at a railway crossing waiting for a train. And if the signals are going and the train's not even there yet, you can feel a bit tempted to try and sneak across the tracks. Well, don't. Ever. Trains are often going a lot faster than you expect them to be, and they cannot stop. Even if the engineer hits the brakes right away, it could take a train over a mile to stop. By that time, what used to be your car is just a crushed hunk of metal, and what used to be you, well, best not to think about that. The point is, you can't know how quickly the train will arrive. The train cannot stop even if it sees you. The result is disaster. If the signals are on, that means the train is on its way, and you need to remember one thing. Stop. Because trains cannot.
This is Steve Austin Unleashed.
We're going to break protocol. We're going to jump right into business, if you will, as Dusty Rhodes would say. I got my main man, Jay Mohr, here. This one, I've talked to some of the baddest, toughest, meanest motherfuckers in the world here on the Steve Austin Show, and Jay Mohr has talked to some of these same people, but this guy, he's not the toughest, meanest cat in the world. He's one of the funniest guys I've ever heard or seen in my life. Jay, welcome to the show. How are you?
And that's the bottom line.
Because somebody said so, if you will.
When I told that to Sapphire, and my son Goldust is coming out the bars right about now, and we're going to have ourselves a man-on-man dance.
Dude, let's talk about a little bit of traffic. That's kind of one of the ongoing things. Jay Mohr, ladies and germs. Jay Mohr here in the studio.
Everybody.
One of the funniest guys in the goddamn world. Hey, man, did you come from doing your radio gig? You do radio 5 days a week. Jay Mohr Sports, you're on 12 to 3 Eastern.
Yeah.
My doctor, I was talking to my best friend the other day, the guy that's held me together for the last 15 years, and I said, I just did a guy's podcast the other day named Jay Mohr. He goes, you mean Jay Mohr, the sports guy? I said, yeah, you know what I'm talking about? He goes, yeah, I listen to a show every single day. So did you just come off your gig to drive over here in traffic?
Yeah, I'm not with my children, just to be with you, Stone Cold Steve Austin. But I like to think of you as my illegitimate son.
Illegitimate? I'm older than you. How can I be your son?
Hey, man,
how about an older brother?
There's some weird sticks in the woodpile, Steve Austin. You never know who got pregnant. Tracy Morgan is your biological father.
Dude, take me through this, because, I mean, you worked your ass off. My show's all about the working man, and you worked your ass off in the world of stand-up comedy and then got forged your way into acting. You've been in some big-ass movies. You had some series on TV. You got Jay Mohr Sports. I mean, you stand-up is in your blood. That's what you know and love the most. Dude, how do you keep everything balanced? What is your preference? Like, what is your focus on?
Well, I think it depends on how old I am. You know, back in my 20s, late 20s, early 30s, I just wanted to just keep kicking the apple cart and raising holy hell. You go do a movie because you go to you know this. You go to like Calgary, you just take over a hotel, you take over the town, they block off streets, trailers are up. It's like being on a pirate ship. You drink, you screw, you smoke a ton of weed, you play Halo in the camera truck in between. It's like being on a pirate ship. Then you have kids and you're in your 40s and you go, all right, I want a steady gig. I want to be home at the same time every day. And that's what's great about the radio show, Jay Mohr Sports, is I'm home 2 o'clock every day. I'm on the beach with my kid at 2:30. I have a 2-year-old. I take him to the beach every day. I want him, to grow up barefoot and like a hillbilly like me.
Right.
And so I love doing the radio, but stand-up, like I can't not do stand-up. So if I was going to put it all in order, if I had my way, I would have loved to have been like name above the title movie star, but it didn't shake out that way. So then you want a sitcom.
But why didn't it shake out like that?
People don't give a shit. You know what? People will tell you what they want and what they don't want. For some reason, there's guys that, back in 92, I remember when I first moved here, Pauly Shore was doing Encino Man, Son-in-Law. And you know what I mean? And Paulie's a good kid, and he made like $2 million a movie in a row. And just, that's what America wanted. And we were confounded by it. But you know what? People don't give a shit. And one of the biggest ways you could help yourself is realizing when to get off the elevator. Like, bro, identify your floor, get out, and then kick the shit out of whatever floor you realize you're welcome at. Sports talk radio and stand-up comedy. That's my gig, and I will not go quietly into the night because now I like it.
You started off when you got you started at Saturday Night Live. You were a writer, 21 years of age?
Yeah, I had my 21st birthday there.
Well, so take me through that, because as we talked when I was on your show, More Stories, everybody knows that listens to the Steve Austin Show. I'm new to the podcast world. And for those human beings that haven't heard of Jay Mohr, you got to check out his podcast, More Stories, because I got in this damn business to entertain people and generate a little bit of dough on the side. So most of my crowd, I identify with a lot of truck drivers, the working man who are trying to pass the time and pay the bills. If you're new to the podcast world, as I am, and don't know about More Stories, Jay's podcast, you got to check it out, because, dude, you talk to people from all walks of life. UFC fighters, professional athletes,
a lot of comics,
musicians, a lot of comics.
Talk about truck drivers. You
have the ability to talk to anybody. I dig your show. You got the best stories of all. You've got to go check out More Stories. Subscribe to it, because it's a badass show. I'm talking about this. Let me go back to Saturday Night Live. So how do you walk in that thing? Because you got your start. You went to a talent contest, basically, your first gig. You wrote your little routine. And then how did you fast forward that into getting into Saturday Night Live as a writer? What were your qualifications? You just write up some papers and say, hey, here's my shit?
Repetition, brother. You got to keep doing it so much. You know, when you get in your car and you drive out of the driveway in the morning, you don't think close the door, put the car in reverse, look over your right shoulder, check the mirrors. You just get in your car and you go. And I think when you're doing stand-up, I know. I'm an expert in stand-up comedy. I will say that. When you do stand-up comedy, you have to do it so much. The muscle memory is like you in the ring. When you're getting after it, you got to be careful, and you got to be a little more careful because there's another human being involved. But when you get on stage, you don't go, do the joke, hit the lines, say the word. Like, you got to be able to have the same muscle memory that you had just driving a car. And I think it's repetition, repetition, repetition. And then by the time you get a shot in stand-up comedy, whether you're in a baseball or whether you're in a corporate setting, it should be so much, in my opinion, it should be so much, which is the right opinion, it should be so much repetition that by the time you get the shot, you feel like it's so overdue that you're almost angry that it's your time. And you just kick the shit out of the opportunity and just let them know, like, make them think, where was this guy? This is great.
Well, dude, how crazy was the time when you were with Saturday Night Live? It was 93 through 95. In 2004, you wrote the book Gasping for Airtime, which kind of chronicled your time there at SNL. I mean, you guys are basically, it's work. But it's comedians, people that are funny, kicking and scratching for a damn spot. It's such a parallel to basically everything, but so much to, where I came from, the business of professional wrestling. I mean, you guys are, is survival of the fittest?
Yeah, I think it's harder. Like, I've had work. I've done jobs. I built walls and fences and dug holes, and I've done all that. But at those jobs, when you're done. And you go, I cut all the grass. I'm a bar back. I did every goddamn dish in this place. There's a done. I'm out. You take the apron off. You get a beer at the counter. But at Saturday Night Live, it was no one ever said what time to come in, what time to leave. I don't know how to write a sketch. I don't have a computer. Guys are from Harvard, and they're just banging out sketches on their laptops. They hit a button, and it goes to another person across the building. To me, that's like fucking medicine man magic, like voodoo. Like, what? You just hit a button, and it's printing across town? Right. Like, what is I'm writing it out with a pencil and paper. I don't know where to hand it in. And then when I hand it in, just all of a sudden 2 days later, we're at a read-through, and my words are in a sketch on paper typed. I don't know how that happened. So I never knew when I was done. I never knew when I was supposed to start. So it was actually even a little harder, because one thing I think we all want is we all want to know, go, and that's enough. And with Saturday Night Live, they never said, when should you be here? When should you leave? I would ask the head writer, Jim Downey, what time should I come in tomorrow? And they'd go, hey, man, you're paid to be here. And they would just walk away. And I'm like, what? My fucking watch doesn't have paid to be here on it.
Right.
Give me a time, dude.
Yeah.
My first day, I got there at noon, and the receptionist came at 3:30. 3:30. And then she starts answering all her calls, and she goes, we'll be with you in a second. About 7 o'clock that night, I met the producers. 7 hours, I sat on a couch. That was my first day, and I should have realized that's how it works around here. And I was a square peg in a round hole, and I take full responsibility in the book of I didn't acclimate and realize, oh, this is how it works. I was like John F. Kennedy, like I refuse to wait my turn. I refuse to admit that I can't have sex with Marilyn Monroe's mouth while I'm in the White House. So I just kept banging my head on the wall, and I went crazy.
So you start in as a writer, then how'd you start getting to do the bits on TV?
Well, I was hired as a writer, feature performer, combo, and that the writing thing was really to pacify my ego because I was hired as a feature performer, not as a cast member. So they go, well, here's an extra check, and you know they string you along and they troll you off the back of the boat for a while, and then every once in a while you jump out, you grab your oxygen, they put you on air for a little while, then they put you back in the tank, and you're like, wait, I was just on TV. Why am I on the shelf for 3 weeks? I need to breathe again. Let me out.
Man, I was sitting there watching a lot of stuff on you, and I come across Gary Unmarried. Everybody comes on this show, meetings that I go to today, and I'll walk in to see some heavy-duty TV cats or movie people, and they'll ask me, Steve, what do you like to watch on TV? I said, well, nothing. I don't watch TV. But I came across Gary Unmarried, your old series from a couple years back.
It's fun.
I watched a couple. Fun. It was outstanding. And you got chops as an actor. Obviously, you have comedic timing. That's what you do. But you were awesome in that. It was a funny show. Why the fuck is it not on TV anymore?
Revenue, dude. That's one thing Hollywood will never fuck around with, and that is the bottom line. To use your language, the bottom line here is the dollar. And if Gary Unmarried made CBS a profit, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And when that show gets canceled, I know in my heart of hearts it wasn't making money. And if it was making money, they thought they could make more money with something else, and that's it.
Yeah, but I
don't even have resentment towards it, and I know it was a good show. But at the end of the day, you know, there's shows that have subsequently gone on after Gary Unmarried and had the same ratings and just stayed on the air, because then a network gets in a position where they're like, well, we can't pull all these shows off. It's going to make us look like dicks, and we don't know how to do shows. So they just let shows kind of air out for like New Adventures of Old Christine. That got the exact same ratings as Gary Unmarried. That's in syndication. She never has to work again.
But dude, Gary Unmarried was doing good numbers, was it not? What I saw it was.
I seem to be the tip of the spear with ratings. Like when I did more sports on ESPN, we got like a 0.5 rating, and everybody panicked and said, holy shit, this is terrible. Now, all those shows in the middle of the day on ESPN, they all get 0.5, 0.4 ratings. Last Comic Stanley, we get 10 million people watching in the summer, and NBC went, yikes, and they pulled it and they moved it over to Comedy Central. And now, you know, reality shows in the summer, they get like 8, 9, 10 million viewers, and Gary Unmarried, you would get the ratings in, and everybody yelled, yikes, pulled the plug, and now every show after that gets the same ratings. But now, you know what, bro? And I mean this. Like, I got the radio show, and I got like little profit participation, little quarterly advances and stuff like that. When the tide comes in, all the boats rise. Hey, man, bring on a tsunami. Let's party.
So you're a funny guy doing stand-up. Real funny. And if I ain't put my stamp on shit, you know, put your name on it. I'll put my name on it. And I ain't telling anybody that's a Jay Mohr fan already anything new. So that being said, but you're an awesome actor. Did you take acting classes? What's the deal? I mean, because, dude, you just can't be a savant that's funny and a good actor and all this other bullshit.
Why not?
I don't know. Maybe you are. Give me some 411 on it.
I always thought the best acting school was acting and doing it. And every time I went to go, I always wanted to go to acting school. And today, like, I think to myself, my wife and I have this conversation all the time, like, let's just go and just head over heels surrender to, like, the hardest acting school in the world. But right whenever we would have that conversation, we'd wind up getting a job. And then when you're on your feet doing it, it's one thing to talk about the bulls. It's another thing to be in the ring. I kept getting in the ring. So that was always my acting class, but I do wish I had more formal acting training.
Traveling on the road as a stand-up comedy, as a stand-up comic, maintaining sanity, staying faithful to your wife. How do you do it? What's the secret?
Masturbation.
I was fixing to tell you, brother, because if you ain't jerking off, you're lying like a son of a bitch. Jerking off is the key to staying married on the road and being monogamous.
Yeah, you got to be monogamous, but you got to also not kid yourself. And look, if you're in a relationship and you're not monogamous, then you just ain't ready for that relationship. Don't kill yourself over it. You just jumped the gun too soon, partner. But you got guys like Steve and me are living proof. Like, man, I don't want nothing to do, as Ralphie May would say, pack your pussies and hit the bricks, bitches, because I don't give a shit. Like, you couldn't repel a chick from the ceiling that I would give a shit about at all. Because to me, honest to God, there was nothing more annoying and more, like, irritating and get the fuck away from me than a pretty woman. Get the fuck out of here. You gonna give me tickets to your show? All right. Hey, let me take your hat off my head, put it on my head. Hey, what are you doing? Come over and say hi to us. Fuck you. You suck. You're a fucking 7.5. Your friends convince you you're a 9. Beat it. I'm married. I married one woman. And people always say, Steve, you're going to have one vagina for the rest of your life.
But it took you a long time to get there, Jay.
Absolutely. But just make sure you're right. And before you get married, if you have a question about it, then don't do it. Because that's not it. But here's the thing. People always go, one vagina for the rest of your life? Are you crazy? No, it's the one I picked, knucklehead. It wasn't like the government dropped a fucking dirty pussy off of my house and said, this is yours forever. That's the one that blew me when she had the flu.
Right.
Like, all right, that's the one. That's the one. She had the flu. She goes, I'll blow you. We can't have sex. My bones will break, but I'll give you some head because I don't feel well. Oh, I'm marrying that one. That's a keeper.
Well, back in the day, you got to get it out of your system. I mean, like, I got it out of my system. Don't get me wrong, I got married 3 times and a bunch of other bullshit, and it cost me a pretty damn penny,
Unbelievable.
too. Son of a bitch, boy, I tell you
why
what.
haven't those laws been, like, gone over with a comb, like a fine-tooth forensic comb? Like, what is it about divorce that we just have to hemorrhage cash? It's crazy. I don't get it. I know Steve's like, what the fuck are you asking me for?
No, I mean, it's
I mean, you go back to Eddie Murphy on Raw going, Johnny Carson, half. And she didn't write ne'er joke for the Johnny Carson monologue. Half.
So you're on the road, you're doing your stand-up gigs,
Yes,
so now pussy's out of the question.
I love to sleep.
You do not roll into a town, go get checked into the hotel, do your gig, and just walk out, go to the hotel, go to sleep.
Absolutely I do.
Come on.
I am a world champion.
Check it out. I mean, coming out of the ring, I mean, obviously...
I just slept in my car.
I know, but check it out. Coming out of the ring, of course, we've just been busting ass or whatever, so your adrenaline's a little bit high, but I can imagine, I don't know, the emotions coming off the stage, or you just rocked the house, you made everybody funny, you got to feel good, you got a 100% success rate, you're just able to turn it off like that and hit the sack.
My most stressful times in my life, my default switch is sleep. Right. Like if I got a crazy thing, if I got to get blood work in the morning because like I'm peeing blood, something weird, right. I go home, I go to sleep. I have an absolute shut-off valve. If a plane hits turbulence and everybody's freaking out, I go right to sleep.
But, dude, I mean, and you can just go to sleep like that, like a dog. Hershey's sleeping like a summit right here.
I look like her when I sleep. I got triangle ears.
See, that's my problem. If it ain't dark, I can't sleep. I want to take a nap during the day. I might drift off a little bit, but, I'm going to wake myself up.
Well, then you really don't want to sleep that bad, do you?
Dude, I work my ass off in the gym a couple hours a day, do my cardio, do my weights, do all this stuff, hang out with Mo, try to bang out some audio whoop-ass for these people on the Steve Austin Show to listen to. Got people like Jay Mohr spending my time doing my research to carry on a worthwhile conversation with a world-class comedian and actor. So, man, I'm busting my ass, but when it comes down to turn the lights off, I can't sleep worth a shit. Got to take one little sleeping gimmick and maybe a beer. And right now I'm trying to trim up for a project, so it ain't 6 beers. When I came to your show, I wasn't drinking any beer. So 1 beer and a sleeping pill so I can get my ass to sleep. But other than that, man, idle hands are the devil's workshop, man, when you're out on the road. Danger lurks.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have a problem sleeping. They can't turn their minds off. Their minds just race, their minds race, their minds race. And what I always do, if you want to know, I do. I read this old book. I'm not going to start giving out titles because we'll go down that road and I'll name 15. None of them will stick. Just if you subscribe to More Stories, you don't even have to listen to it. Just hit the subscribe button. I don't give a shit if you ever listen to my podcast. Just go to iTunes, hit subscribe, and then you can fucking duck out of the ring and I'm good. Your brain is a giant marketplace, like a flea market. And at night, when you go to bed, it's very active. There's activity, and there's a merchant selling dashikis and shit over here, and there's fruits and vegetables over here. But even the most powerful, the stock exchange, the most powerful place on earth, eventually they leave. They go home. They strip themselves out. They go down. The lights go down in that part of the building. And I always just picture that and all that chatter in my head. You just got to get that chatter down, until if you really focus on it, it's so stupid. You're chattering about nothing. And if you write stuff out longhand, this is what I have to do tomorrow. I'm going to write it down. That way I don't have to think about it. And when that floats through my brain, cancel, gone. Because I wrote it out. I'm done.
You automatically write stuff down every night.
I'm telling you, bro, I am a Olympic sleeper. I don't have to do shit to fall asleep.
Okay, when you go to sleep, how long will you sleep?
I'll sleep for an hour, and then I get up to pee every night, and then I'll sleep for 8 hours.
God, man, if I could do that.
You can do it. How come I hit you over the head with a frying pan, man?
The dude hit me with something, but put a little extra something on it because I need to...
I'll bring Dusty Rose by with sapphire and gold dust, and we're going to put Stone Cold Steve Austin in sleep a whole lot. Keep that to him, boy.
I've been wanting to take on the American Dream a long time. I didn't think he was going to be in my bedroom talking about writing things.
He did.
We were over at your place a couple of weeks ago when I did More Stories, and if you hadn't checked out that episode of More Stories, you got to check out the Stone Cold Steve Austin on that one. Told some good stories, but you you said something. Every now and then, your wife will just write out a bunch of stuff that's going through her brain that turns into your material. When do you guys sit down and write, or when do you just by yourself come up with a bunch of shit? Hey, man, some good stuff. Let me work this into the routine.
It's kind of like a shooting star. If you can stare at the sky all you want, but you can't make that star scoot across the sky. And it's like that way with the pen to the pencil. You can't make it go. It's got to happen. It's got to be something weird. That, for me, my wife is an insomniac like you. She can't sleep.
Right.
The mind never stops. The chatter never goes, and the marketplace never shuts down. So my wife will stay up, and she'll write out. She's got a much more like Dada sense of humor, where like the most absurd shit, she can spin it and spin it and spin it into 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes. And I told you, my wife was up one night. She said, they always say to stay together, you got to have everything in common. That's not what keeps a couple together. Similar hates. You got to hate this. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like, you could do a whole special on this.
Right.
And that turned into like a 20-minute bit with callbacks and all that stuff. With me, it's usually a sentence or something weird that I'll notice. And then, especially if you're going someplace out of town, there's something specific to that town that you'll just start talking about up front. So like the first 10 minutes of my set is pretty much always ad-libbed. And then I get into the meat, and then I ad-lib through the meat. So a lot of writing on stage. And if I think of something, I write it down. But I never sit down and specifically try to write. I think that's a writer's job. I'm not a comedy writer. I'm a comic.
When you guys go out on the road, and we had a little bit of this conversation, we won't drop any names, but some guys just ain't funny.
Yeah.
When some of these guys on the same gig as you, I mean, it's like, you shake your hand, hey, dude, and you really knocked it out of the park, or you just, I mean, it just goes without saying. Do you not say anything? I mean, some cats just ain't funny.
Well, that's why they're opening. That's why they're going on before you.
But there's some other people that are still out there that ain't funny, but they're
headliners. Yeah, but I'm never going to be in the same place as them because we're playing the same size rooms. And you know what? Again, you got to identify what your floor is in this elevator. And if you drive a truck, you know your route, you got it down cold, can you stretch it out? Can you go from San Antonio? Are you going to hit Del Rio, come back, and go through Valverde and go all the way? Can you hit Las Cruces in a shot? Do you have to stop and take a piss? Or do you have it down cold from San Antonio to Las Cruces? You didn't have to pull over to piss on the 10. You got it. So with me, the thing with the other look, I had Milwaukee booked. I had Detroit booked. Nobody gave a shit. I sold 500 tickets in an 1,100-seat theater. You know what? I'm not going to those fucking towns, and I'm not going to go there and bang the doors and do radio and do radio and do press because they would have sold a lot more tickets. Now, you know what? I got it. You spoke to me, Milwaukee. You spoke to me, Detroit. Right. And you know what? That's cool. There's a lot of money to be made nibbling around the outside of the country. L.A. I can make a living in L.A., New York, Boston, South Beach, and San Francisco, and Phoenix. And San Antonio. I'm going to probably November. I don't have to go anywhere else. And, you try to extend it a little bit, but I think a lot of guys, I don't know why some comics that I think suck can sell out a 2,000-seat theater. I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. It's like, when you watch like old sitcoms and you go, why did we think this was funny? Whether it be Friends. I'm not saying Friends wasn't funny. If you like Friends, that's your thing. But when you watch old sitcoms, you're like, or you watch MASH, and you go, wait, there was a soundtrack in an operating room in Korea? There's a laugh track in they're operating on Korean war soldiers that are dying. And you hear, there's a fucking laugh track. And you're like, this is a terrible idea. There should be no laugh track in an operating room. But I don't know why. But it's not. And look, it may sound like I'm dropping wisdom. It took me 42 damn years to come to a place of acceptance. I still don't like it, but I can't. Who knows? I don't know why. I don't know why people listen to techno music. To me, that's the devil's music, man. That's bullshit. You give me some Black Crowes, I can get down a little bit, but different strokes for different folks.
But you're a little bit of an audiophile. What do you truly like to listen to?
On the way here, I was listening to Zeppelin, and today was a big Zeppelin day for me, and I like bands like that where I can dive into the catalog, and I'll go, man, Physical Graffiti, I slept on this. Like 10 years gone, this is bananas. Yeah. And When the Levee Breaks, when you listen to the original When the Levee Breaks, the blues version, they're two completely different worlds. And so even though it's a cover, the interpretation is so far from what the original was. I'm a huge Jane's Addiction fan. I love just going back into the old vaults, listening to Jane's Addiction. But right now I'm on a crazy, crazy Led Zeppelin kick. There's so much. There's so much Led Zeppelin. And when you listen to it, you're like, This is crazy. Like Jimmy Page on Fool in the Rain when the guitar gets... It almost sounds like it's going through like a Moog synthesizer, but it sounds like a horn. And like, this is... Led Zeppelin is so much more metal than anyone has any fucking idea. It was like spooky fucking metal, like Black Sabbath style metal.
Did you ever dig Stevie Ray Vaughan? One of my all-time favorites.
Well, pride and joy, of course. Little Wing.
Yeah.
You know, and Stevie Ray Vaughan in Double Trouble. That's some chunky blues. That's stuff to Buddy Guy, dog, man. That's real blues. Buddy Guy will tell you Stevie Ray Vaughan was the man.
Going back to, do you remember a guy named Lonnie Mack?
I do not.
Oh, dude, you got to get on YouTube. And Lonnie Mack was a guy. Stevie Ray walked into a music store back in the day. Asked the guy, hey, what's the heavy-dutiest guitar album you got here? And the guy handed him a copy of Lonnie Mack. I thought Lonnie Mack was a black guy until I got on YouTube. Only about 6 or 9 months ago did this happen, and I'm a lifelong Stevie Ray fan, and I didn't know Lonnie Mack was a white guy. But when you watch and listen to Lonnie Mack play, you see exactly the backbone of Stevie Ray's style. So you got to check out Lonnie Mack.
Well, if he inspired Stevie Ray, what I love about Stevie Ray Vaughan is he's so unique. No one was like him. And it's tough. If you're going to be a white cat playing the blues, like with that weird cat, like the cowboy hat folded up with like a fucking raccoon tail off the back and the necklaces.
Yep.
And he wasn't like a great-looking cat, but he made it work. He was beaten. He needed a pussy helmet, this guy. He was the real deal, so real, and he was so original. And there's only like 6 guitarists ever. When you hear it, you go, that's Hendrix. That's The Edge. That's Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's Jimmy Page. That's it. Those are the guys. There's the greatest guitarist you're thinking of right now. If I just played you 1 second of it, you go, I don't know, it could be anybody.
Make sure to stick around after this podcast to get the latest headlines from the AP News Minute.
Hey, this is Jordan Harbinger, host of the not-so-creatively titled Jordan Harbinger Show. We dig into the superpowers of the world's most interesting thinkers, and then we deliver them to you right into your ears. It's more than just a way to get inspired, and I get it. We're not all superheroes. That's why we give you their blueprint and include worksheets for every episode, as well as answer your listener questions so you can live what you listen. Listen free to the Jordan Harbinger Show, available on Apple Podcasts and PodcastOne.com.
This is Steve Austin Unleashed.
Let's talk sports.
Hey, everybody.
You do
threw out
sports?
the first pitch at a Dodger game last night.
How'd that go?
I sang it up there, bro. It was nice. You know what? I'm not even going to lie to you. I've done it 3 times. First time, I was so scared. I was at Expo Stadium up in Montreal. There's only 800 people in the place. It's like goddamn boat expo. There ain't nobody in that fucking building. But I was nervous. Second time was in Houston on a Sunday. I was so tired from the 2 shows the night before at 1 o'clock ball game or noon ball game that I didn't even have time to even really give a shit. And I kind of threw an ephus pitch, a big arc.
That sucks.
That's you just can't bounce it. You can do whatever you
bounce
want.
it. Yeah.
Oh, well, you can throw an ephus. You can do a high fly ball as long as you don't bounce it. And I'm at Dodger Stadium last night. They're like, don't bounce it. Don't bounce it. Dodgers come on. Don't. Joe Torre. Don't bounce it. Tommy Lasorda. You better not fucking bounce it. They're all yelling. Don't bounce it. Don't bounce it. So I did a trick. I was really like a heel. It was great. I did a heel turn.
Oh, Jesus.
They announced me. I go out to the mound, and I'm not going to lie to you. I was straight up going to try to be a creep, and I was going to throw from the grass in front of the mound because it's closer, less chance of bouncing it. And the Mets fans, because the dirtbag Mets were in town, and they're there early because they don't have jobs because they're from Queens, New York, and there's nothing to do there but smoke meth and sit on your ass. They start booing me behind the Met dugout, and I turn around and they're waving their hands. I go up on the mound, you dick. So I go up on the mound and I do a big thing with my hands like, is this fine for you Met fans? And they're like, all right, yeah. And then I threw a strike and the catcher didn't move. I hand to God. It wasn't fast, but the catcher didn't move his mitt. It's probably the best pitch I've ever thrown in my life. Shoot. Jim Jeffries, great comedian, said, when you throw out the first pitch, it's like holding cancer. You're just like, let's get rid of this. This is bad. I don't want this on me. Get it off. And I will say this. If you want to know what it's like to throw out the first pitch of a ball game, now you're a fighter. You're a born scrapper. I'm not. I wrestled, but I'll do takedowns all day. But like when a fight breaks out, I'm trying, it's not, people get hurt. Right when a fight breaks out, that weird feeling where your hands get a little light and you're like, wow, this is I'm just going to fucking get into this, and you feel every knuckle, and your heart's kind of racing. All of a sudden, your arms are kind of discombobulated from your torso. Like, I'm going to just throw, even though you've been shadowboxing in your garage for a whole bunch of years, when that fight when they're throwing right in front of you, like, your hands get kind of fey, like, oh, why? That's what it feels like. Right. When you're like, you ready? You're like, I guess so.
The thing about me, the couple of times I've got a chance to throw out first pitches, they don't ever give you no warm-ups.
No.
They don't just take you over on the side and say, hey, dude, let's just toss a couple back and forth. Give me 9 or 10 little warm-up pitches. All of a sudden, the pressure's on.
No, fuck that,
I come rolling in there, big superstar status, worldwide celebrity, and then throw one in the fucking dirt. And it's like, oh, dude. Oh, man. It hit the back end of the home plate.
Where did you throw it out?
Man, it was up in, I think it was San Francisco.
Nice park.
I remember met in Klesko. We were sitting there shooting the shit. He's a big deer hunter. Hey, let's talk a little bit of baseball.
No. Don't fucking go past you bouncing a ball. That's good stuff, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Dude, but look at this arm. It doesn't straighten out all the way. Too many injuries in the ring. I should have thrown to somebody's left-handed. I should have had some warm-up pitches.
Let me tell you something. When I was on the mound, I thought to myself, all anybody said is don't bounce it. And Jim Hill is a local L.A. sportscaster. He's like an old-school brother, OG. He's got that, like, 1980 fro, that Richard Pryor fro. Like, he's holding on to that. Like, he's the fucking
I dig it.
He goes, hey, shit, man, you can throw it to the backstop. Just flex your arm a little bit. Let them know you did it on purpose. I'm like, oh, shit, if I throw it over everybody's head, as long as you don't bounce it. So I knew I was throwing it as hard as I could, and I'm throwing it up. And that somehow, in my stupid arm angle, actually wound up a strike. I don't think it's like when you're golf, you keep slicing the ball, it. So you actually switch, so you're facing the other way, so you can slice it off the field.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing.
You're teeing off over there, but you're trying to hit the ball over there.
Did you get booed? No, I'm not leaving this. I'm like a dog with a
Dude, no, they booed me.
Yeah, they
did.
Can't bounce it.
Yeah, they damn sure did. You got a golf game?
No, I'm the worst. But Golfsmith make good clubs.
I like to hit a bucket of balls, but that's about all I got the attention span for. I don't need to play any more than 3 holes. Just you go get a bucket of balls, get out of your system. Because when you hit a good one, it's like an orgasm. I mean, there's just something good. When you hit that sweet spot and that motherfucker goes straight down like just screaming, you slice the shit out of one or hook one. That ain't no good. But when you hit the shit out of one straight down the damn fairway, it's a good feeling. Yeah. I only have about 3 or 4 of those good feelings for a whole bucket of balls. So the level of frustration keeps me off the course. When I was living down there in Georgia, I bought me a set of clubs at a garage sale because I'm cheap. I know how to save money. And I'd go out there and I get so damn frustrated and end up getting mad. I needed therapy when I got off the golf course because I was mad at myself. I expected to be Tiger Woods every time I went out there. Now that I've told my golf story, now let's talk about baseball. All these cats getting laid down with suspensions, drugs. Okay, Major League Baseball. What should we do here?
Here's the bottom line. It's every guy's right. Here's where I shake out on this. The guys that are getting popped aren't the marginal guys. People go like, hey, man, if you need an advantage to make it to the big leagues, and I'll tell you, Stone Cold Steve Austin, I'll look you right in your eye. If the difference between me being in the minor leagues and making $2 million a year as a backup catcher in the major leagues is me shooting PEDs or human growth hormone or decacycles into my body, I don't give a fuck if my nuts shrink into my throat. If I got no nuts, I'm raking. I'm making the bucks. I'm all about the dollar. I don't care. But those aren't the guys that are getting popped. A-Rod, MVP.
Right.
Ryan Braun, MVP. Nelson Cruz of the Texas Rangers, he just took his suspension. And people go, oh, that's nice of him. He took his suspension. He's being cool about it. Fuck that. He knows in 50 games he's going to be back for the playoffs. Yep. He's going to make it rain in Arlington when it's hot and sticky out, and the ball's going to fly out of the goddamn park, and no one's going to remember he was suspended for 50 games. It's a contract year. He's going to get a raise. My thing about baseball is this. Look, I have a job where they don't drug test. They don't drug test me. If I show up and do stand-up comedy and I do radio every day and I smoke a ton of pot and nobody knows and they never give me a piss cup, whatever. But you work for a corporation that does test for that shit. And if you test positive for it, just like if you work at UPS, if you test positive with Cloudy P, you're a fucking idiot because you signed up to a job where you get tested, where if you have cloudy piss, you no longer get a check. Think of the psychosis, Steve Austin, that goes into that. Sign here, we'll pay you this amount of money. Take baseball out of it. It's right here, Toad Hop. You can do a podcast. We're going to guarantee you X amount of dollars. You make $500,000 part-time. Just bullshitting with your friends. But if you test positive, it goes away. You got to be a fucking ape to ruin that. Like, you have to be so psychotic to go, I'm going to go home, I'm going to do rails of coke, smoke meth, smoke pot, and I'm going to do some HGA, some human growth hormone, and PED and all that shit, and then just piss in a cup like, why, what could happen? Are you that fucking dumb that you don't realize that you're just pissing it all away? Literally, in this case.
So they're going to clean up the sport?
They have to now, because the commissioner of baseball is such a pushover. This is the guy that let the All-Star game end in a tie in his ballpark. The ballpark that he owns. And by the way, how could the commissioner of baseball be a team owner and that be in the best interest of baseball? If you're going to start throwing around in the best interest of the game, I know you got a lot of fans that are huge baseball fans. The commissioner had one shot at this time around, and that was to drop the hammer on everybody. 50 games, my ass.
Life ban.
There's the one strike, 2 years, no money, nothing. Second strike, and you're out.
You're out.
If it's for recovery, and we know it's for recovery, it's not, baseball players aren't trying to rack 400 on the incline press.
Right.
It's for recovery, because it's a long-ass season. It's 6 months. It's every day. Then why aren't hockey players testing positive for steroids? What's more of a grind, hockey or baseball? You stand on first base, and you're doing steroids for recovery? Come on, man. Hockey is so exhausting. There are 4 lines of dude for the same position. Imagine in the middle of a football game, a guard just puts his hand up and just vomits and runs off the sidelines, and they just bring in a second guard, then a third guard, then they bring the first guy out when the matchups are just right because you don't want him vomiting on everybody else's shoes. They're insane people. And it's the fact that it's the Hall of Fame guys like Ryan Braun and A-Rod. That's psychopath. That's crazy.
So is A-Rod done now? What's he got? He's 38, 39 years old?
Well, he's done.
Suspended through 2014?
Yes, but he's appealing. And that's where the players' union, to me, has ruined baseball so much. I've always sided with the player. I've always sided with the worker. Now I side with the worker, but in sports, I side with ownership. Hey, man, I built the ballpark. I'm going to pay you $10 million. Yep. We're not talking about a guy in a loading dock, Steve.
Yep.
We're not talking about the guy behind Home Depot right now listening to this podcast, lifting some heavy shit with a weight belt going, fuck, I worked too hard for this little money. That's the worker.
Right.
These guys are superstars. You didn't have not 1, 2 World Series in our life. Recently, in our lifetime, in the modern era, twice the World Series got yanked from us because these pricks couldn't work out an agreement in their billionaire versus millionaire battle. Now, I was always pro-player because I knew the players. I knew these guys.
Right.
They told me what the problem was. Man, once you get a guaranteed contract, get up from the table, shake their hand, and hit the elevator, it's over. You've won. You have a guaranteed contract in baseball, basketball, and hockey. If you are so bad you can't do your job anymore, Albert Pujols ain't doing dick for the Angels. He's sitting down with ice on his foot. They're paying that guy $25 million, and he's not playing. Once you get guaranteed contracts, the fact that you raise a stink about anything, you're a maniac. And here's the thing, Steve, and I'll wrap this up.
Yep.
The players, part of the drug testing, it got so held up, the negotiations, and that was they couldn't agree on what the penalties would be. Now, you got to keep in mind, steroids are against the law in the country, and baseball operated as its own entity. It'd be like the Nevada Athletic Commission, WWE, and all. You guys, you have to follow the laws of the land. So, I'm making this long when I shouldn't have to. Sorry about that. Baseball players negotiated first-time offense, 50-game ban. That's how it took them 5 years to come to that agreement. Then when a guy gets popped, you're going to fucking appeal the 50 games again and again and again, and you're going to appeal. He's playing right now. He's the most guilty of all of them, and the prick appealed, and he's playing third base for the New York Yankees, making $28 million. Houston Astros payroll is $16 million. A-Rod makes $28 million a year.
That's all the Houston Astros got is $16 million.
That's it, but it's a brilliant plan because in Houston, what they're doing, they realize, look, if we're going to suck, why have a payroll of $40 million? If we're going to suck, let's really suck. Let's blow it up. Trade anybody worth a damn for minor league talent. Now the Astros have the greatest minor league system in all of baseball. And in 2015, that was the target date. And they told Houston's a great sports town. They told everybody in Houston, Jeff Luhnow is the general manager of the Houston Astros. He said, we are going to be terrible. We're doing this on purpose. We are blowing this up. Why pay Carlos Lee $15 million if you're going to finish in last place anyway? Get rid of him.
Right.
Why pay Bud Norris $8 million? Get rid of him. Everyone's gone. You are watching right now in Houston the AAA ball club play in Minute Maid Park, and the AA ball club is right behind them. In 3 years, the Astros are going to be good, and they're going to stay good for well over a decade. This is a ballsy risk Jeff Luhnow's doing, and as fans, we've all wanted this. Just tell me we suck, we're blowing it up, the kids are all right, to quote The Who, and we're going to come back in about 3 years, but come out to the ballpark anyway because you're going to see some pretty cool talent.
What's your favorite sport? You cover this shit on football. I'm a football guy for that.
I love it. And football, if you're working out, I know you're working up because I see you getting trimmed for that movie. You're damn near about 8% body fat.
Dude, I got to kill a bunch of people. I can do it fat or skinny, but skinny looks better on the screen.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
Football is the best treadmill sport. Fighting, I thought would be great. You sit on the treadmill and you watch a fight. There's a fucking clock in the corner telling you how long. Like every round's 3 rounds, or in UFC, every round's 5 minutes, and you go, Jesus Christ, second round. I've only been on here 10 minutes with commercials, 15 minutes. Football, the clock stops, it starts. You just focus on one player. You act like a stoner. You go, I'm just going to watch the tight end for this whole. Oh, he took a play off. Look at this guy. And now he's on special teams. Oh, he was saving up for the big hit. He's a wedge buster. Look at this guy. And then you go, 20 minutes went by. I'll go lift some weights.
You got a college team?
I don't. Well, I'm an East Coast guy, and I know it's just not. It just doesn't fly there. Like Big East, West Virginia,
Rutgers.
sure. Yeah. Rutgers. My family all went to Rutgers, but they did Tim Pernetti pretty poorly with that basketball coach that was calling the players like names and stuff. And Tim Pernetti was their fall guy. And Tim Pernetti was a really good dude, and he turned that whole program around. And for a while, Rutgers, when they had televised football games, the back of their jersey said family. Forget about me, I love you. To get a bunch of 19-year-old kids, the first time you're on ESPN or on ABC, to not have Austin on the name on the back of your jersey, to go out there with family, that's a special breed of kid with a special guy up top spreading the message, and they just ran him out of town because a basketball coach was throwing basketballs at kids' heads.
What do you think about all the head injury stuff going on in the NFL?
I don't know why they can't make a helmet. My car can parallel park itself. We had guys hit fucking golf balls on the moon 40 years ago. So why can't we make a helmet that just protects the skull, the brain that's inside the skull? Like your head's a helmet and your skull is your brain is inside the skull that's a helmet. So then there's a helmet on top of the helmet. Why not make a helmet on top of the helmet on top of the helmet?
I'd be playing with a big-ass helmet.
Look. A coffee mug will keep it hot. A thermos will keep something hot and will keep something cold. Now, that's an old, stupid hack stand-up comedy bit from some Seinfeld or some shit. But still, the fact remains, I don't know how the fuck it does it. And microwave and all this stuff. You cannot possibly tell me the people at Squibb or the people at all, something can't come up with a helmet to protect the human brain.
Yeah, I was reading an article about that. They keep coming up with better helmets, but it's all about, at the very end, it's the brain hitting on the inside the skull, and you can't change that. So they can put as many pads as they want, but you're just not going to change that dynamic. So, man, class action lawsuits, all this stuff, all these guys dropping off, some of them committing suicides. I think some of them on the ride just to get some dough because they didn't get paid back in the day, but nonetheless, it's one of those issues which is just going to keep compounding and getting bigger and bigger and keep growing. And it's just fucking up football, man. But see that when I got into the business of pro wrestling, I knew I was signing up to feeling like shit later on down the road. To me, I mean, it's all about that's what these guys are. They're taking on that risk, and it is what it is.
The average career of the NFL player, I believe, is 1 year.
But is it down to 1 year now?
It's always been. You know what would make all this go away? All this lawsuit for NFL players?
Yeah, leather helmets. No.
He's right. I had such I was like Mr. Smarty Pants in the court, like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would like to present. And he just goes, leather helmets. I was going to say lifetime medical. Just ensure that, let the guys have, that's what they want. These old Earl Campbell can't get out of a fucking wheel. Earl Campbell?
Man, that dude was bad. One of my favorites of all time.
He ain't bad no more. It looks like Grady from Sanford and Son. Raggedy ass beard, can't get out of a chair without wetting himself. Give the guy some fucking health insurance, NFL.
What is the medical on those cats?
None. When they're playing, they have it under the team. But then when you're out, you're out.
Shifting gears, talk about a little bit MMA. UFC. What we got coming down the pike is UFC 164 or 5? It's but just Josh Barnett against Frank Mir. I'm fixing to go back and talk to Josh Barnett. You know,
isn't
these
that
guys.
also Bisping is fighting?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, the Count is fighting. Now it's real screwy now. I work my radio show is Fox subsidiary, so we get first crack at the fighters, and I interview a lot of the fighters. Yeah. And I had Anderson Silva in studio 3 days before the Chris Weidman fight.
How was that?
He was sort of, in hindsight, you go, oh, that's why he acted that way. He didn't give a shit. He goes, sometimes you win, sometimes you no win. And I'm like, wait, there's an interpreter here. You can choose what you say. It's not like you say something, wish you could take it back.
Right.
He's telling an interpreter to tell me, hey, man, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't win. This is a guy that hasn't lost in 8 years, Steve.
And he's telling you prior to the fight.
What the fuck's he talking about? He hasn't lost. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't win. Bro, you win. I only know you because you win. I never see you no win. You no win? Now all of a sudden, guess what? He no win. He didn't care about it anymore. And Chris Weidman, you know, look, every guy's got that soft spot. Every guy's got that one thing. And Chris Weidman somehow, I don't know if he did it on purpose, but the thing, you talk to guys that are deep into martial arts and boxing specifically, with Anderson Silva, if you throw a jab and a second jab, he likes to pull his head straight back. Right. And when your head is behind your center of gravity, you can't move laterally. Right. You're a dead duck. And for some reason, it's like when guys fight Tyson, the fear and like, well, I don't want to go into the spider. I don't want to get close to the spider. Chris Weidman just said, fuck it. 2 jabs, bang, lights out.
Yeah.
That was incredible. But I got a funny feeling Anderson Silva just kicks the living shit out of Chris Weidman winning the rematch. But I want to know why Uriah Faber going to the 135-pounders, who I really like. Last time I saw Uriah Faber fight, he was fighting Dominic Cruz. It was 5 rounds, and these guys slugged for 25 minutes. It was awesome. Dominic Cruz is the champion. He's got a bad... I like Dominic Cruz. I'm not taking anything away from the Dominator. That's not my point. This guy's had a bad ACL. He hasn't fought well over a year. He's the champion. Man, Uriah Faber's on the undercard of a fucking Chael Sonnen and Shogun Rua fight, and he's fighting a guy no one's ever heard of. I don't know how you fall that far out of favor when all you've done is just show up and kick the shit out of people. It's the best sport because the guy that loses is a black belt. That's the only sport where the guy that loses has mastered, like fucking Uma Thurman in Kill Bill mastered the sword. Right. And he's laying on it. Somebody just went and went, oh, you know what? Pulled your head straight back. I did so much video footage. I know exactly your weakness. And I'll wait and I'll wait. Oh, you don't like wrestling? I'm just going to take you down and outpoint you.
You just got a chance to talk to Ronda Rousey a while back, right?
Yeah, she's a good kid. She's, you know what? Fame fits well on her.
Can she be stopped?
No.
She's a beast.
She can't.
She's beautiful. She is a beast. I mean, the judo background, her base.
Her mom was a judo champion in the Olympics. She was a gold medalist in the Olympics. No, excuse me, she was a bronze medalist in the Olympics. The thing about Ronda Rousey, and this, look, a lot of people that watch UFC, they hate the Phil Dawson. They don't like the wrestlers because it's lay and pray. Now, I'm a wrestler. I watch a wrestler, and I get so hyped up. People go, he's just laying there. I go, but don't you see the guy at the bottom staring at the clock? This guy trained for 6 weeks. Don't get taken down, sprawl, crossface, keep it on the feet, step, jab in and out, step to the side, step, and you're just laying on your fucking back like a dick. You're at Key Arena in Seattle, just laying on your back going, what the fuck is going on? I trained for 6 weeks to not be laying here, and I'm fucking laying here 15 times, and he's punching the shit out of me when I get down here. Ronda Rousey, you train for 8 weeks, 9, 10 weeks. Don't get on board. Don't get on. You bring in Brazilians. You're just a fucking underground railroad of Brazilians up to Big Bear. Just arm-barring the shit out of you. All arm-bar. Men. Fucking Gracies are coming up. Armbar. And you're like, fuck it. Let's do it. A minute in. I'm in a fucking armbar. How does this happen? I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm getting fucking armbar by a white chick.
Oh, she's badass.
She's the best, and she's funny. She's a great kid. She was on the podcast, like you said, on More Stories, and we went to her house. She has tennis balls. You'll love this. Hanging, there's probably every conceivable space in her house. There was a different height tennis ball hanging from the ceiling. And she goes, oh, let me get that for you. And she'll go across the room and just slip her head, sit, whap, whoop, elbow, duck under, whap. Man, you see somebody undercut a fucking tennis ball on the move? That's hard. And on the way back, all the balls are moving back and forth. Zip, 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 zip. It's like some fucking Jedi shit, dude. And she ain't even a stand-up fighter. She's an armbar specialist.
But dude, when Liz Carmouche jumped on her back a couple of months back, I said, "Man, this is it. This is it." I mean, rear naked. And I thought she dislocated her jaw. It just looked like something moved. Yeah. So I'm thinking, man, she's going down. She's going down, and she got out of that.
Yeah, she threw her. She's a strong kid. When she fights at 135, she cuts down from like 150, so she's strong. But Liz Carmouche just got her first UFC win in the last one, and that brings me back to the point. We haven't once prefaced any of this conversation with the word woman, girl fighting. It's just fighting.
No, that's badass.
If you want to change the game, change the game. Don't go to the government for a subsidiary or a Title IX, or you could fund this. Maybe the men fighting could fund the girl fighting. Fuck that. Open the cage. Let me in, and I'll kick the shit out of any motherfucking bitch you put in here. And we buy the tickets. She headlined the Anaheim Honda Center.
Right. Cain Velasquez.
I can't figure the heavyweights out. It's the most confounding division. To me, it is the most inconsistent. Like, you just never know when a guy goes, yeah, I don't fucking feel like it tonight. You want to dance? Let's just dance. You want to dance? I'm fat as fuck. You want to just dance for a while? I'm tired, bro. It's a minute in. Fuck this. I thought I'd knock you out by now. That's why the fight, same with boxing. We keep going back to the middleweights, welterweights in boxing, super welterweight, lightweight, featherweights, because you know they're going to see it. People always go like with Demetrius Johnson, they go, he's such a little dude. They don't have knockout power. Like, hey, don't forget the chin's little too, dude. Right. It's not like you can't knock someone out at 125 pounds. It's a 125-pound guy's face, too. It's not like you're fighting a big dude.
Dude, Big Country was a pay-per-view or two ago, got duked out. Man, he was looking bad. Right, right when I think Big Country was short notice.
It was real short notice.
Man, he got tired.
The fight before, it was incredible.
Yeah.
And he was one of those guys where you go, exactly what you said. Like, I can't figure out how this guy has any cardio. Big gut, rubbing his tummy, drinking milk, smoking cigarettes in the corner. Who's the Mexican fighter, Mayorga? He used to eat fried chicken and smoke in the corner right after he knocked somebody out, like just to mock them.
Really?
And you're like, how is this guy's cardio? Like, they're feeding him like Schlitz high boys and shit. And you're like, wow, these guys are animals. And Big Country, I think he took it on short notice, and it was a perfect case of what we all thought, and that is, if you can get Big Country into the deep water, man, that gut don't lie. That gut's there for a reason, and it ain't from exercising and diet.
But who was that on the other end of that ass whooping? Because that guy was on time. He was ready to go. He was just
the guy that Nelson beat up.
Yeah, no, the guy that beat Nelson up.
Oh, I don't recall.
Yeah, name is escaping me right now. But I want Big Country to turn the corner. I want him to be right there in title contention. But that loss he just suffered is really gonna drag him down.
Yeah, but he's never not going to be on a card because we love to see him.
Yes,
fight.
you love to see him. But that being said, he's going to be that gatekeeper guy.
Yeah, and that's a great way to make a living. But like Kimbo Slice was the guy we all wanted to see, but he just didn't have the skill set at all. No. It's almost like he just jumped into the sport 5 years too late. But Roy Nelson is a superior striker. He's a great fighter. It's like Ray Mercer in boxing for a long time was the truth maker. If you can't get by Ray Mercer, you're wasting our time.
Right.
You might get past him, but that's a good test. And you know what? Roy Nelson, maybe labeling him the gatekeeper is the best thing to happen because it'll burn a hole in his head. Fuck that gatekeeper.
You don't want to be the gatekeeper.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's like being the IC champion.
Yeah.
It's cool, but that's not where you want to live.
Come on, Don Morocco. Get a shot at the real title. I'm tired of watching Bob Backlund do squat thrusts.
Dude, how long ago did you start watching wrestling?
Oh, I started as a kid, probably 10 years old, and it was Tony Atlas.
Tony Atlas is my old traveling partner. We used to travel together. A lot of people don't know Tony Atlas can drink some beer. Man, we'd ride down the road. We'd get a 12-pack and get another 12-pack, and we'd go to the gym next morning because, Tony Atlas was always going to go to the gym. And, man, I'd be out there pumping out my, maybe 275 on the bench. And Tony over there with 4 wheels, 405, repping on the bench press after drinking beer all night long. He was the real deal. I mean, and dude, I believe he was clean.
My grandmother from Denton, Texas, and then Odessa, Texas, Sarah Maud Ferguson. I remember, I'll never forget this. In Bayville, New Jersey, I went to put on wrestling. She was on an oxygen tank. She was kind of lady to take the oxygen tank, just smoke the cigarette, Marlboro Red, and she put the cigarette out, stub it out, put the mask back on. And I said, do you mind if I change the channel? Because she's watching like Barnaby Jones or some shit. Yeah. And she goes, what y'all want to watch? And I go, I was going to watch some wrestling. She goes, oh, I didn't know you like wrestling. And I put it on WOR in New Jersey, and it was Tony Atlas. She goes, Mr. USA! And I'm like, how the hell does this old lady know this stuff? And it bridged the gap. It was great. And you and I talked on More Stories podcast about Pro Wrestling Illustrated was the Bible. And I only had WWF in New Jersey.
Yeah. So
to go someplace, I used to ride my bike to the next town in Caldwell, New Jersey. It was a hike, but there was one newsstand that had Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and in the back they had the standings and the rankings, and I was like, it was mysterious. And that I'm glad you brought this up, because I was at work thinking about, I want to tell Stone Cold this, how the WWE could write itself and make more money, make it cooler than it even is. And that is AWA. I'm like, who's the Boogie Woogie Man? What's going on? Where is this? Parts unknown. We talked about this too. Like Wrestler Number 2, Mass Superstar. Who the fuck are these guys? Yeah. I always got the feeling back in the day, WWF, when it was like, Dr. Death, David Schultz, just bleeding all over Hulk Hogan, that WWF, it wasn't mainstream. It wasn't up front. It wasn't the Roxbury. It was what happens behind the Roxbury.
Right.
And there was mystery. Now the lights are a little too bright.
Yep.
There's a little too much rapping.
Yep.
A little too much talking. A little too much. This ain't a Beyonce concert, dude.
You're right.
We got to go. Look, we all know the preacher's in the tent. What happens behind the tent? When the preacher gets off stage, that's what we all loved.
Right.
And you brought that back. Stone Cold said so. Like, oh, okay. Who is this guy? Let's follow this guy around. Now you got guys, the commissioner box comes down out of the ceiling and shit.
Yeah.
It's like a goddamn a Twitter match.
Yeah.
Guys are fighting on their Facebook pages. We got to get back to behind the tent.
Behind the tent, and it's got to go back to, and here's a word I hate, but I'll use, organic. Yeah, organic. Hey, man, turn the lights down a little bit. I don't want to see everybody in the crowd. I know there's 20,000 people there. I want the focus to be on what's happening in that 20 by 20. And anyway, with that being said.
There's guys, though, in the modern era of WWE. Mark Henry's a guy, I'm like, this fucking guy, he's going to take you behind the tent. There is some snake charming shit.
You're a big time Mark Henry fan.
I love Mark Henry, but like Rob Van Dam, there are guys doing it right now that are absolutely, they'll take you behind the tent. And if you said, look, WWE is, this is my challenge to WWE. You tell every wrestler in your stable, it's over. Keep all the money, you're still on salary. However, if you want to continue to fight, we're going to do it on the docks in Long Beach about 2 o'clock in the morning. That's the only time we have free. About 8 guys are going to show up. Those are your guys. And those are the guys you start with. Who's going to show up when the lights go out? That's how you restart the WWE.
Man,
Sheamus ain't fucking going in Long Beach.
Hey, everybody's going to show up because they don't want to lose their spot.
No, everyone stays paid.
Everyone stays paid.
Got your check. But if you want to continue to simply get in the ring and get it on, we got to go down to Long Beach at night when no one can see it.
Your top guys are going to show up. Your top guys are they got to be top guys. They will be there.
You can't keep Rob Van Dam out of a ring.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying everybody else is going to be there. Yeah.
You think they are going to be there?
Everybody.
I think a lot of guys
Everybody.
At the top,
there's one game in town, and they ain't going to jump off that ride.
Let's give big ups to True Car for supporting the podcast. Every car comes with this share of stories. That ding in your bumper for when you attempted to park somewhere in Los Angeles, or the mileage you saved by taking the bus all summer. While you can't put a price tag on your stories, now with True Car, you can at least find out what your car is worth when it's time to sell or trade it in. Just go to True Car. Simply enter your license plate number and watch how your car's details pop up. Then just answer a few questions. Navigation, moonroof, spacious trunk. This way you'll know how much of a hit it's going to be so you can plan ahead. Once you're finished, you'll get a true cash offer sent in minutes, which you can take to a local certified dealer to cash out or trade in. So when you're ready to experience a better way to sell or trade in your car, check out True Car today. True cash offer not available in all states. All right, I'm giving Sean a go-home cue, so let's wrap it up for this week. Make sure you check out PodcastOne.com and subscribe to The Steve Austin Show so you don't miss any of these classic episodes. Before I ride off in the sunset, I do want to throw out a couple of plugs. I still got a beer. It's the badass Broken Skull IPA, the finest IPA in the United States of America, and that's the bottom line. Made by El Segundo Brewing Company. You can find Broken Skull IPA at Whole Foods and Total Wines if you live in Cali. If you ain't in Cali, you're probably SOL. And if you're looking to get a badass pocket knife, I got 2 for you. Cold Steel Broken Skull knife, Cold Steel Working Man knife. Get them at my Amazon store.
Amazon.com/shop/Steve Austin, or go to the Cold Steel Knives website and check out all their badass knives. Also, one more big shout out to all my sponsors to make this show possible. That's how I'm able to bring this show to you free twice a week. Please support them because they support us. For more info, check out the podcast description to this episode for details. Folks, I am on social media, Twitter and Instagram, at Steve Austin BSR. Folks, I'll be back soon, but until then, my name is Steve Austin. I will catch your ass down the road.
Download new episodes of Steve Austin Unleashed every Thursday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.